Hi. Hello, YouTube. My name is Emma, and this is my first YouTube video. Let's go. As we all know, TikTok is getting shut down. It's very sad, and I don't know how I'm gonna be able to deal with it. I don't know if I can deal with this. I am chronically online, and now I have to become chronically online. Offline? Yes. So, because I have no friends, I'm a loser. I don't really have much to do. Instead, I am deciding to put all of my effort into YouTube instead of TikTok, which was not a lot to begin with. I only had like 4K followers, so whatever. I am 23 years old and I am from the great northern region of New England. It's pretty cold up here right now, kind of sucks. However, it is perfect weather for perverts. It is perverts Nosferatu winter 2025. It's wonderful. So some of the music I listen to goth, post-punk, metal, some indie. If you couldn't tell, as from what I just mentioned, really into Ethel right now, like full shaft balls deep into perverts. It is the best thing I've ever listened to, so, you know. I also really like to play video games, mostly like single-player RPGs, kind of narrative stories. Right now, I am working on Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm almost done. I'm doing that so I can play Veilguard and date Emmerich. I need to jump that bag of bones badly. You know what I'm saying? Oh, movies. Some of my favorite movies. I really like horror movies, especially vampire movies, which is a perfect segue into what I am doing here today. So, behind me, I have this board, different rankings on them. I have logged 35 vampire movies that I would like to rank today, from non-applicable, which I will talk about what that is in a minute, all the way to S. Some of these movies I watched recently, thus I have more notes on, so which ones I talk about and the length at which I will get into them will vary, but I just wanted to rank a bunch of vampire movies because I watched Nosferatu and I am so obsessed with vampires right now. Love vampires, always have been. So, the ranking. As you see, these categories. S tier movies are going to be perfect, amazing movies that I have no notes on and I think are awesome and I will watch 1,000,000 times. A, very good, great movies. Great vampire movies that I thoroughly enjoy and probably have little to no notes on, but still just can't tip into S, you know? B, really good vampire movies. Like, they're good. I like them. I have some reasons as to why they're not higher, but I really like them. They're good. C is they're not good. They're not bad. I mean, there's a part of me that enjoys them, but they're not my favorite. You know? Like, it's just the negatives outweigh the positives outweigh the negatives. I don't know where to put them. C tier. D. This one's a little weird. It's kind of in between. So D will range for like a high D, which is like at most they're forgettable and I didn't really care about. Low D, like at worst they're like almost bad, like almost to the point where I can't stand them, but like they're not horrible, you know. So this one has a lot of variety. There's F. And suck, hate them, hate these movies. I only watch them once, never want to watch them again. Not even like fun to like hate. Like, they're just not good and I don't like them. Not applicable. These are going to be movies that I started but could not finish due to reasons I will get into. When I talk about the movies I put down here, you'll understand. You'll see where I'm at mentally. Besides that, there's really no criteria for like which goes where. It's just vibes and how horny they make me. When I first came up with this idea, I was ovulating, so that should explain some of my choices. Oh, also, spoiler warning, I will list all the movies mentioned in the description below. I urge you to watch a lot of these movies before you come here and listen to what I talk about. Create your own opinions about them. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't, I don't care. Leave me alone. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, let us start with NA, not applicable. So there are two movies I'm going to put down here. Both I went into the best intentions with. Like, I was excited to watch these because I heard people say they were really good. So, yeah, but it turns out I'll talk about it. So the first one I'm going to put into non-applicable is, look how tiny these are. It is Andy Warhol, Blood for Dracula. So, oh boy. First of all, Andy Warhol's involvement, disgusting, right? Hate him. Can't even explain why. I just don't like him. So, this is a movie about Dracula, and he and his little servant have decided to move to Italy to get the blood of Italian virgins. So, in this world, I guess vampires, they can like drink blood and they're totally fine, but like only the blood of virgins can sustain them. I don't get it, and I don't really care. He goes to Italy, and there is like a wealthy Italian family who's actively trying to marry their daughters off. There's like 4 of them, right? There are these 2 daughters. They're sisters. It's very weird. Their relationship is very weird. I was sussed out from the beginning and gagged. Okay. So these 2 sisters, they're like, oh, we're inseparable, we can't stay apart from each other, whatever. They both just actively have sex with like their gardener, who looks like kind of like Leon Kennedy, so it's a little funny. But there's a scene where it's just like a scene. First of all, the stroke game was weak. Okay, I don't know what he was doing. It was very odd to look at. I don't like seeing a hairy man ass shaking his nuts at the camera, right? So they'd like take turns, and one sister would just lie there, not make any noise, by the way, with weird music in the background, and they'd just text and they'd like watch each other. And at some point, this was like the first almost breaking point for me, was the 2 sisters and like their gardener were talking about their younger sister, and the guy, he goes, yeah, her, I'd like to the hell out of her. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What? Huh? Like, what do you mean? And then one of this is just like, calm down, she's only 14. As if her, like, if she was above the age of 18, that'd make it okay. Like, what are we talking about? So there's that weird interaction with the sisters and the gardener talking about like that what the and then the gardener's like looking away or like getting ready, and like the camera pans to the sisters and they're making out. The sisters are making out. That was like, I can't watch this. I can't do this. This is so weird. Like, I can understand I was gonna say I can understand incest. Whoa! I can understand using that kind of stuff for a plot device, like as we see in like Crimson Peak, right? But this is because it provides, it's like a certain narrative to the story. It's gothic horror, like it's just, you know what I mean. But this, I was like, what the fuck? Like, they're making out! Like, it was so weird. I was like, I actually can't finish this. There are other reasons why I didn't really finish the movie. The music was weird. The acting was fantastic. Udo Kier, I don't know how to say his name. He does a good Dracula. I love the Dracula because it's super gay, super like, he has this very comfy coat, and he's like complaining the whole time. It's really funny. I like him. He does a great job. But it's just, I don't know. Like, you wanted to make an artsy movie and then just didn't put any effort into the plot, and the plot itself was really weird. So that is why I am putting Blood for Dracula in NA. I didn't finish it, and I don't care to because it's weird. Alright. Next. So, the next movie I couldn't finish, and I don't want to finish, is, well, I'm gonna tell myself, is Bram Stoker's Count Dracula, featuring Christopher Lee. What year was this? I'm gonna say like 1970. That's my guesstimate. Wow. So when it comes to Dracula adaptations, I'm gonna say this is probably the most accurate. Like, he has a mustache and everything. We only see that like 2 other times. Love Christopher Lee. I think he's awesome. He's amazing. Rip King. But this is not his fault. The movie is so boring. Like, ugh. Like, it's so boring. So boring. I don't need to describe the plot to you because we all know Bram Stoker's Dracula. If you don't, that's on you. I don't know what to tell you. Read a book. Read a book. I say that like I read. It's just boring, really. I was on my phone the whole time on like Twitter, Nosferatu Twitter, and there's a part where there's like a taxidermy standoff between the taxidermied animals and main characters. Like, I can't really describe it any better than that. It's just odd. The dude who played Jonathan Harker, very hot, very hot. He kind of looks like Nicolas Chavez. That's his name. I don't know. Really hot. He has like a nice scar on his lip. Okay. Because of that, I gotta put it NA. I couldn't finish it. After the taxidermy standoff, I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on to F tier. Our first F tier movie should be a surprise to nobody. This movie has been shitted on and dunked on. At first, I thought the hate was unwarranted because I didn't watch it. And then my ex-boyfriend and I watched it, and I was like, oh, it sucks. It's horrible, and I hate it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Morbius. So, where do I start? I don't even remember. I'm gonna be so for real. I don't even remember the plot. I was just mad the whole time watching it. I was like, this is like lame. Because a Marvel, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know. But the idea of a Marvel character, hero, villain that's a vampire is so interesting and so cool. You can make a really cool superhero out of that. Again, I don't know if he's cool in the comics or not. Haven't read it. But the movie does not do that justice. It is lame. He is lame. Jared Leto eats booty. Like, he eats booty. Like, it's just not good. The faces that Jared Leto and oh my god, I forgot the name. He plays one of the doctors in Doctor Who, and he is in House of the Dragon. This is so embarrassing. I forgot his name. Like, the faces they make are like the scary Snapchat filters, like the Grave Encounters 2011 like scary face filters. Like, it's like so lame. It's like, I don't even remember it. I just know that I hate it. Like, it sucks. There's so much potential. Could have been so cool, but alas, it sucks booty. So yeah, that's why it is worst in F tier. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, so Morbius is going to go right there at the bottom of F tier. The next one, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or controversial at all, because I haven't heard anyone like talk about this movie ever, is going to be John Carpenter's Vampires. So I thought the idea of this movie was really sick. I was like, whoa, like a Western vampire movie. You don't see that, you know? I love Westerns, and I like the idea of bringing horror and vampires into it. So I was thrilled at the idea of watching this. Like, I don't even know. Like, where do I start? Like, it's just a group of vampire hunters, and they're trying to hunt down vampires. There's like a head vampire named like Jan Valek, who's pretty hot. I like him, as long as he's got long hair. Stop. The thing that really, really throws me off with this movie is there's like a romantic subplot, but it's not good. There's I think it's Steve. I'm just gonna say Steve Baldwin. So they hire a sex worker or something, and she gets bitten by a vampire, and she's slowly turned to a vampire throughout the movie. Baldwin is just like fucking beating the shit out of her like all the time. Like, it's weird. And like all the while, it's supposed to be implied that they're starting to have like romantic feelings for each other. And like, he runs away with her at the end of the movie because he's slowly turned to a vampire as well. But I don't even remember the main plot of the movie because that was just so shocking. Like, he's so abusive like, to this poor woman. It's so shocking and awful. But yeah, like, it's just not good. That weird romantic bit, heavy on the quotes, just threw me off the rest of the movie. Not a fan. That's why it is going right above Morbius in F. Next movie. This one should also not be a surprise. It is going to be Renfield. They look fucked up because we were running out of printer ink. Featuring Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. Again, the idea of this could have been really cool. It takes place from the point of view of Renfield, who is Dracula's like servant, his familiar, I think. And the movie kind of talks about codependent relationships and kind of like verbally abusive relationships, and that's kind of like what's going on between Dracula and Renfield, which is an interesting topic, but I don't really take it too seriously because the film doesn't take it that seriously. Yeah, it's about him just trying to break free from Dracula. The thing is, you know who's in this movie? Awkwafina is in this movie. Like, it is amazing how she manages to just ruin every movie she's in. Yeah, they have like she's a cop and they like develop a friendship or whatever. Maybe something romantic going on. It's not explored too heavily, but like kind of. So yeah, the movie is just them trying to take down Dracula. It also involves like the mob and gangs and police corruption. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this movie, and it's like, okay, I don't know. Nicolas Cage does a great job as Dracula, though. He's very funny. I thought he was really cool. I loved his big chunky rings. Big fan of that. At the end, right before he dies, he goes, "Hail Satan!" and then he like explodes. It's really funny. Plot sucks. Not enjoyable. Could not pay attention. Didn't care. Did not care about Awkwafina's dead dad. I will say it has some really, really cool like action sequences. However, I don't like this movie and I will not watch it again. Annoying because it's super saturated, but like like it's very colorful. Love that, but it's just not good. Not good. Oh, fuck yeah, I love water. Next movie should also not be surprising. It is going to be Dracula Untold with Luke Evans. So I watched this movie for the first time with my dad, and we both just did not like it. Like at the end, we were just sitting there, we're like, that sucked. Like, I don't even remember the plot very well. It's supposed to be kind of like the war, like a realistic representation of Count Dracula or like Vlad the Impaler, whomever it is. I don't even remember. I think it's a good indication that like it's bad, and I don't remember any of it. The one thing that like pissed me off so much was that there was a war or whatever, and Dracula's wife was like pushed off a cliff, and he, first of all, she's falling down, and he's like he has vampire powers. He's trying to fly down to like rescue her, and doesn't make it in time. His Sirach is like dying by the time he gets her. It's like right before he has the chance to turn her into a vampire and save her right before she dies, but like he doesn't do it. Then he like dies in the end, and there's like a skip forward in time where he's in where he's in Paris, question mark. He sees like the reincarnated version of his wife, who is Nina, and it's kind of implied that there's going to be a sequel. There could be still. I looked up something where they might be like talking about that. Luke Evans is really hot. I will give him that. Luke Evans is very hot in this movie. It's really hot. However, story sucks, don't remember it. I just remember not liking it. So, F. So, it's going to be Fright Night from 2011. From 2011, featuring Colin Farrell as Jerry Dandridge. Okay, let me preface, I am a slut. I am a huge, huge slut for 80s movies, especially 80s horror movies, 80s vampires movies, whatever. We'll see that later on the list. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, this is a remake of Fright Night from 1985, and it is completely different. It is so different to put, like, I can't follow what's going on. I'm just confused the whole time. And Colin Farrell plays Jerry Dandridge. I will give him points. Super hot. I love Colin Farrell. He is so hot. He's everything to me. And there's one scene where he's like in a nightclub, and you know, he sees the protagonist and his girlfriend, and he starts making it. Oh my god, he starts drinking the blood and making out with the girlfriend, and he like pulls away and he stares and he's like, at a girl, and oh my god, like, are you kidding me? Oh, it's so hot, and he's like, his hair is all like full blood on his mouth. Oh my god. But at the same time, they made him like a wicked misogynist. Like, what the fuck? Like, the video's like, you know women, you know how you're supposed to treat them, how they need to be tamed. It's like, this is not the Jerry Dandridge I know. You are destroying his name and slandering his image. How dare you? Right? David Tennant's in it, and everyone, I think the only reason a lot of people like that movie is because, you know, he's in it and he's hot. I don't think he's hot, but whatever. Just my opinion. It's just my opinion. So yeah, that's why it's the top of the F. It's not like It's not the worst movie I've seen, but like, come on, girl, could be better. Weird remake. Okay. No. Next is going to be our D-tier movies. So again, these movies range from just almost bad, like almost horrible, to forgettable. This is like a weird in-between place. I will talk about my reasoning though. So our first pick for D-tier is going to be The Last Voyage of the Demeter. So the first issue I have with this movie is why. Why did we need to make this movie? We know what happens on the Demeter. It's pretty cut and dry, and it explains it in every single, like, first of all in the book, and then every other adaptation of this book in movies. It's like, why do we need to talk about it? Yeah, Dracula kills everyone, everyone dies, the ship crashes, and it gets to England or wherever. Like, I just don't understand the point. I don't even remember much about the movie. Like, I just knew that the whole time. I was like, why is this happening? Like, it's not, like, the acting isn't bad, it's filmed well, I like that, but I just don't understand the point. Sorry. Dracula looks cool, though. He's kind of in, like, his weird, gross bat form the whole time, which I love. Yeah, there's a main character. He's cool. The female lead, or female character, and they have, like, a little romantic thing. Enough with the forced romance. It's so boring. Again, I just don't remember. Like, I just don't remember, but it wasn't great. Yeah, that's why it is at the bottom of the list. Alright, next one is going to be a movie called... You can't even see this. I ran out of so much ink. It's called Bit. So, this movie, I do give props to the director to try to make a more, like, femme and queer-focused vampire movie. Love that. I love that. All the actors and actresses were great. But it, like... it's just not great, you know? So the story is there is a trans girl who just graduated from high school, and for the summer she is going to live with her brother who lives in LA, somewhere in California. And while she's there, she meets a group of lesbian vampires, and they, like, kind of force her into the group, right? I don't remember. The leader of the vampire group, super hot. She's really hot. There's also a character named Izzy who's really hot. Oh my god, she's hot. She's got Riz. She, like, rizzes up the main character. It's really cute. She, like, was one of the original brides of Dracula, but she, like, burned him and keeps his heart in a box. And every once in a while, she, like, eats his heart and, like, gains some of his powers, right? But when the main character, I forgot her name, I'm so bad with names, she kind of sees that what's going on is, there's a power imbalance, and the leader is not being as transparent as she could be. She decides to set Dracula free and defeat the leader and subsequently Dracula eventually. And she and the rest of the group start to eat his heart, so they all kind of equally share that power. I think it's fine. It's just the writing, dude. Oh, the writing. There's potential for it, but it just wasn't great. It does a lot of telling rather than showing. Like, there are great moments in this movie, but when things are explained so explicitly and, like, in your face, it's like, I can't do it. I mean, again, a good idea, and I agree with a lot of things, the characters talk about. It's just that there is potential to get there. So, that's why it is next in the GTA. Next! I don't even remember watching this movie. I just know I did. I watched it with my family. It is Salem's Lot. I think it was part of the mini-series, or, like, it's like 2 movies or whatever from 1979. I think. I'm gonna be so for real. I don't remember anything about this movie. I remember absolutely nothing about this movie. I just remember watching it, being bored, and I didn't care for it. I don't even think I watched the second, like, episode. I think I just watched the first one. I was like, well, that sucked. I didn't really remember it, and then I went to bed. So, I don't have much to say. Like, it's just, I don't like it, and it's not, I don't think it's bad, I just don't remember it. So, next. This might ruffle feathers as well. And I'm going to say this. I am not trying to be a pick-me when I'm like, oh, I don't like this movie because I'm different. I just don't like it. I just don't care. It is Twilight. And I'm doing Twilight as a whole because all the movies blend in together for me. So I never grew up reading the books. I think there's just a couple of days where the girl I used to be best friends with in middle school, we watched all the movies. I don't remember much. I don't care about it. The thing is, this is like, it's not a vampire and werewolves movie. Yeah, they're in it, but they're just there to be there, you know? Like, this is a drama and a romance that just so happens to have vampires and werewolves in it. Like, I just don't care for it. I thought it was boring. I don't even remember it. I'm sure there were good parts. It's just, I don't remember it, and I don't care for Twilight. So, it's next in the D tier. Oh, hair. Ew. What the? Ew. So, hear me out. Oh! Dropped it. Hear me out. Next one is Vampyre. Vampyre. From, like, I'm gonna assume, like, the 1920s. I feel bad putting it in D. I just wasn't thrilled by the plot or the stuff going on. But I will say, Vampire, it was really important in the film industry, for film, especially in like the 1920s. You know, it played a lot with special effects that I don't even understand how they did. And it's really impressive to watch. It's just, I remember the plot. The vampire wasn't hot. So it's hard for me to put him above a D, right? I don't remember much about it. I do acknowledge how important it was for film, especially in early film. I just wasn't thrilled watching it. I thought it was fine. It wasn't even scary. D. Stay there. Alright, next is a movie. It's kind of vampire-y, kind of witchy, satanic, called Black Sunday. Originally it was called like The Mask of Satan in Italian, but they had to change it because everyone's a Jesus freak way back when, what was this, like the 60s, 50s, 60s? Everyone was a Jesus freak back then, so they couldn't possibly fathom having Satan in the title. So I will preface this by saying that I didn't watch it in its original Italian version. I watched it in the English dub, A, because it was free on Amazon Prime, and B, I was building a Lego set, okay? I was busy and I didn't want to read a movie while I was doing my Legos, okay? Legos, take priority. Legos, Italian, okay? Got it? Don't come for me. So, I thought this was an interesting movie. It's not super vampiric. Again, it's more witchy. There's a witch that was burned at the stake, and she had like the mask of Satan nailed into her head. And she put a curse on the family that she'll like come back and like their kids or whatever, like try to destroy the whole family. So years later, this professor and his student, I think they're doctors, you know, they stumble upon her tomb, and they unknowingly like release her, and she comes and like again kills this whole family. There's a love interest of a woman named Katya who is super gorgeous, and she's supposed to be like look exactly like the witch. Like they're both played by the same actress. I don't even remember if she dies. I don't remember the ending. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. I mean, I might move this up to C later if I like reevaluate the list. But you know, I'm just gonna put this here. It's a safe spot because I thought it was good. Just, you know, whatever. It's kind of boring. Next, this will be controversial, and I will probably move this later. Next is going to be the whole of Dracula featuring Christopher Lee. I don't know. I think I just went to this movie with high hopes because people were always talking about how good it is and all that, but I just wasn't thrilled. It was kind of quiet, kind of boring. Again, another reiteration of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Christopher Lee did a very good job, as he usually does, and his Dracula was really interesting. And General Tarkus, right, from Star Wars is in it, and he's Van Helsing, and he's really hot. Christopher Lee is really hot in this too. Oh my god, like they're both really hot. So points for that. However, it's just like it's almost as good as I wish it was. You know, it's fine. I still recommend people watching it because it's still a part of the history of cinema regarding vampires. But you know, it's not perfect. So high D for now. Maybe I might move it up. All right. So now we're on to C tier. All right, again, C tier is like, whoops, they're not good or really bad. like a weird in-between place. For the most part, I enjoyed these movies, but I can't like objectively say they're like good, you know? So let's start. First up is Dracula's Daughter. I do like this movie. I think it's fun. I like the idea of it. So this takes place right after Dracula dies, and Van Helsing is being convicted of his murder. It's kind of funny. All the while, Dracula's daughter, she finds his body and burns it, thinking this is going to free her of the curse of vampirism, because she wants to live life as a normal human being, you know? However, turns out this does not work. All the while, one of Van Helsing's students, forgot his name, is trying to defend him in court. He's a psychiatrist, right? He has a secretary who likes him, and he likes her too, but, you know, he's all grumpy about it. Listen, I didn't think he was cute, but then I took a good old look at him, and I'm like, kind of looks like Emre. So he's kind of a hot older man that I want to jump his bones. So yeah, Dracula's daughter, she starts going to him to like try to figure out how to get rid of her desire to, you know, feed off of other people. Turns out, can't do that. Unfortunately, she's stuck with this illness, and she decides that the psychiatrist needs to become a vampire and live with her for the rest of her life. I don't know why she came to this conclusion, but like, okay. So she kidnaps his secretary, and so he flies all the way to Transylvania to defeat her, and she gives the ultimatum, like, he either has to live with her in death and live eternally, or she's going to kill his secretary. Of course, this doesn't happen, and he manages to destroy her. I thought it was good. I mean, it gets here like a good sequel. Thought it was fun, could be better. I don't know, I liked it. I obviously really like the poster, and I like Dracula's daughter. I think she's really hot. There is a lesbian scene. She's bisexual. We love that for her. That's the only reason I really watched the movie, because I wanted to see it. Kind of lackluster, but, you know, I'm glad it was still there. I'm glad. Made me feel good. Alright, so that's why is going in the bottom for C. For now. I'll probably change it because I am indecisive. Next movie is going to be Blacula, which is a movie that was part of the blaxploitation period in film from like the 60s to 70s, ? Unfortunately, I did not do enough research in this area. Wikipedia is only so helpful. I like this movie though. I thought it was good. I mean, it's a little lackluster, a little slow, but I like the take on it. So William Marshall plays Prince Mamuwalde, and him and his absolutely beautiful, gorgeous wife, Luva, she slayed so hard. So they go to Count Dracula's castle and try to bargain with him and convince him to stop the slave trade, because apparently Dracula has slaves. Whoa. I'm not really surprised, but like, okay. He's like, girl, no. He's like, and he curses Prince Mamuwalde to be a vampire, and he essentially kills his wife. Rip Luva, you were so beautiful. Then years later, in like the 1970s, where this movie takes place, there is a gay couple, who win like all of his Dracula's belongings in an auction. So they take his casket, take him back to California, maybe? I don't remember where it takes place. They take him back, and of course, Prince Mamuwalde, Blacula, wakes up from his slumber and starts killing people. Yeah, then he bumps into like the reincarnation of Luva, right? And in this movie, she succumbs to vampirism, She goes with him, she falls in love with him, and they're both really hot. So, and there's also a detective there who's really, he's so fine. Oh, he's so fine. He's like kind of like the Van Helsing guy. Yeah, he gets his brides, which is, I think, just 2 women and the gay guy, So like, we love a bisexual king. They accidentally kill the female lead, who's Mina in this. And then Mamuwalde himself, and it's actually really sad. And the special effects I thought were really good. So yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I feel like I'm not learned enough in this type of area of film to really say anything. So I'm gonna put it nice in a cozy spot right in C. That was a good movie. I would recommend this to other people. I thought it was fun. People say it's bad, which is weird. I don't think it's bad. What? Okay, next. This is Dracula from 1979. Alright, I thought it was good. It's more of a romancy movie, kind of like with Blacula. I do like that, you know. I'm fine if the story deviates from the norm and takes a different approach. I'm fine with that if they do it well, you know. So yeah, Frank Langella. He is Dracula, very hot. Very hot. I think he's a hot man. This kind of movie takes place like after the Demeter, like right when it crashes. And what's weird is that the director kind of decided to switch Mina and Lucy, like their names and characters essentially. So he crashes. Lucy is with Jonathan Harker, who looks like the 5th member of the Beatles. It's kind of weird. He's quite interesting to look at. We'll just say interesting, right? And, you know, she kind of falls under his spell and they try to escape. He dies, you know, whatever. It's the story of Dracula, just a little bit different. Okay, oh, yeah, there was one part in this movie that actually scared me. So Mina, who is supposed to be Lucy, you know, they switch places. She, you know, dies because of him and she turns into a vampire. There is a scene where her father is Van Helsing, which is weird. They come and they go to excavate her body and try to figure out her vampirism thing. She's not in the coffin. What? Oh my god. So she dug a hole through the coffin and into this like underground like cave essentially. And Van Helsing finds her and she is like, I'm not fucking around, a scary vampire. Like she kind of looks like zombie-ish. Scary. Thinking about it makes me nervous. And she has completely black eyes and you can only see like one like dot of like reflection. And it's like scary. Seeing it, like it shocked me. I got shivers. Ooh, usually I don't get that scared, but this was scary. He had to like kill his daughter again, basically. It was pretty sad. It's actually pretty sad. What's funny is that Dr. Seward is Lucy's dad, and he's played by the same guy as Loomis in Halloween. So I thought that was really funny. How these two crooked psychiatrists are played by the same guy. Made me laugh. So yeah, I recommend this movie if you want a more like romantic take on Dracula. I thought it was fine. The actress for Lucy, Kate Nelligan, is so gorgeous. She is just so beautiful. So yeah, right in C. Thought it was good. Recommend. Not great though. All right. This is kind of a weird placement, but next is going to be 30 Days of Night. So I have a weird reaction to this movie. I like this version of a vampire movie because, like, as we all know, in Alaska, there are periods of time where they are in complete darkness for a whole month. And they use that idea or that phenomenon for this movie. So these vampires invade this town that is going to be in darkness for a whole month so they can feed and live off of them, right? So the first half of this movie was basically just like set up and just trying to, what's that word? Exposition. The first half of this movie is just like setting up plot points and like exposition for these characters. I didn't care. First half of the movie, I did not care. It was boring. I was like, I do not care about this separated couple and his little brother and grandma. Like, I don't care. But then, as the movie goes on and it shows them trying to survive, and people are falling one by one to these vampires over the course of 30 days, then I got interested. Then I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool, right? That was good. You know, they had to fight off these vampires, and in the end, the main character, the protagonist, decides to sacrifice himself, become a vampire, defeat these vampires, and then he dies when the sun comes up for the first time in 30 days. Again, I thought it was good. I'm not obsessed with it. I like the concept and the idea. The vampires were scary. They're like killers. But at the same time, God, they still had that like scary face filter from the early 2000s or 2010s. And like you could see it like as like some of the vampires moved, like their face distorted. I was like, oh, you know, whatever. It was still cool though. I recommend it. I thought it was fun. Don't think I'll watch it again, but I don't regret watching it. All right, this next movie. Watching it threw me in for a loop. This was a little weird. So it is going to be Queen of the Damned, right? Featuring Stuart Townsend and Aaliyah. Rip Queen, miss you, love you. You know, this is a point of view of Lestat. He wakes up and decides, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a rock star. I want to get famous and stuff. At the same time, he's trying to like awaken an ancient vampire, like the first vampire, I think. And they have a little thing. She gets his blood, or he gets her blood. They stand off. She dies. I don't really remember. Like, there's like something with like lineages and like vampires. I don't remember any of that stuff. I didn't care. So, but this, oh my god, so funny. So, Lestat is a rock star. And the intro of this movie is, Jonathan Davis, it's Korn. And they're singing like original songs for this movie. And all of a sudden, it shows Lestat singing. Tell me why they decided Lestat singing is Jonathan Davis. He's Korn. Like, what the fuck? I was like crying. I was laughing so hard. That just threw me off. Oh my god, it was so crazy. It was just so funny. So funny. Just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, right? Yeah, I don't remember much about the plot. In fact, Jonathan Davis sung for Lestat was really funny. Aaliyah, love her, miss her. Oh, makeup department did a cool thing with the vampires, is that you can always tell they're a vampire, and if you look at like the inner corner of their eyes, they always have this green shimmer, and it was so gorgeous, and I loved it. I thought that little moment was so sick. And like all these vampires, they dress really underground, really alternative, and I thought they looked so cool. And I like Aaliyah and this version of a vampire, because we don't really see that very often. She's very sensual. She moves like this, and she's sexy. I love it. I love who she is in this movie. She did a wonderful job. So, I thought it was good. Wasn't bad. I probably would see it again, but girl, it was quite funny. So, see. All right. The final movie in C is also going to be another one that threw me in for a loop. It was crazy. It's going to be Dracula 2000 by Wes Craven. Where do I start? So, Van Helsing has been microdosing vampire blood for like hundreds of years, right? And he, in his estate, he like has kind of like a museum, and he like has Dracula's body in a coffin because he hasn't figured out how to kill him yet. So a group of his workers, they kind of like break in and steal his body and like fly him over to New Orleans. It's supposed to mimic like the Demeter and like what happens on there, right? So back in New Orleans, Van Helsing's daughter, whose name is Mary, is like she has psychosis, right? Because she keeps seeing visions of Dracula and how he wants her, and she's like, "What is this? Who is this guy who wants me?" Hey, by the way, Gerard Butler. The fuck? Like he's kind of weird because he's like really pale in this movie. Like he's very scary to look at, Like he has these like red contacts they put in sometimes. He's very pale, very odd to look at. Right? So yeah, his mission is to try to get her because she has vampire blood because she's Van Helsing's kid, and he had vampire. It's some cool thing. I don't really get it. The main thing about this movie is the identity of Dracula. Like throughout the movie, he, people mention like, oh, he just hates religion. He hates Jesus. He hates Christianity so much. I was like, this is kind of like a weird, amazing atheist like take on religion, or like kind of like edgelord. And I was like, why are they doing this? Like, I'm atheist. I don't believe in all that. But at the same time, I was like, this is kind of pushing it. This is a little weird. Turns out, he's Judas. Is relying on, like, the ancient Hebrew myth of the first vampire being Judas. So funny. I was shocked and gagged. Jesus is in this movie. I was like, what? It was so funny. I was, like, crying. I was laughing so hard, because I just did not expect that. I thought it was interesting. And, Mina, her name in this is Mary, like the Virgin Mary, the mother of Jesus. And I think this myth, I'm not religious, I don't know, of Judas being a vampire was kind of brought up in the book of Matthew. Van Helsing's fake first name in this movie is Matthew. Whoa! Also, cast is weird. Nathan Fillion is a priest for about 2 scenes. I don't remember why he was there. He was just there. Also, Danny Masterson is in this movie. He plays one of the guys who stole the coffin. And, oh my god, dude. He plays this character named Nightshade. Oh my god! And he has like this long black trench coat and these tiny little like glasses, these sunglasses. So cringe. Oh my god. The damage that The Matrix has done to film in the early 2000s is irreparable. Like, it's, oh my god, it's insane. It's so insane. Also, Harvey Weinstein is associated with this movie, so ew. Yeah, I thought it was a crazy, wild movie, and I had fun, but like, this isn't a good movie, So that's why I have to put it at the top of C. It's insane. It's just so insane. What an insane movie. All right, so we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. So next we have our B-tier movies. And so I only have 3 movies in here so far. Like, again, they're all good movies. I just am not obsessed with them, maybe. Like, they're better than these ones, but I can't see them putting them this high. I might change my mind by the end of this list, though. We'll see what happens. So the first movie, complete change of pace. The first movie I'm going to put into this is Hotel Transylvania. So I'm only going to do the first movie because I do not remember the second, third. I think there's a fourth. I did not watch those because I don't care. All I know is that dancing scene. We all know the plot of Hotel Transylvania. Dracula builds a hotel. I think it's really fun. It was a kid's movie. It was a movie I used to love when I was younger, like when it first came out. I think it's really fun. Adam Sandler's in it. You know, I love Maeve, although she has damaged the mind of young gooners. Men are like, oh, she's so hot, she's so goth, and like, they don't listen to goth music. Like, men say that, but they don't know what goth is. They just think it's based on appearances, when it's not. Okay, I can get a whole thing about goth music and like male gooners and like how they're obsessed with goth women, but they don't know what a goth woman is. Get into that. We're just here to talk about movies. So again, I don't really have much to say about this. It's a good movie. It's fun. It made me very sad watching it when I was younger. So good movie. Love it. I kind of want to rewatch it. All right, next movie is going to be A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I really like this movie. I really enjoyed sitting down watching it. It's very atmospheric, filmed in black and white. So this is about, there's 2 characters in this movie. There's a guy who, I forgot his name. Wait, I have it right here. Who is that? Okay, a guy named Arash. Maybe. I don't know if that's accurate. He is taking care of his dad, who is a drug addict, I think to morphine. And while he's out, he meets this girl who is a vampire. She skateboards around and she hunts down like bad men and bad people. Like, that's her thing. She's really quiet and soft-spoken. Like, there's a scene of her like in her like room and she's like dancing around to music, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. Like, she was so awesome. She's just like me, for real. I thought it was really good. I like this movie. I think it's really fun. It's a little scary. I love the aesthetic. I love her prerogative. There's a little romance bit where, like, I think at the end he kind of suspects what she is, but he's like, I don't care. I still want you. I still love you. And he like pierces her ears for her. It's cute. I really like it. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it in B. I actually might move this up to A later. Not sure. I really like it though. I thought it was a fun movie and I highly recommend it. All right, next we have Only Lovers Left Alive. So this is a movie I just finished recently. I got about halfway through and then it passed out. And then I decided to finish it. I really like this movie. It feels really somber, and I love the romance between the characters Adam and Eve. You know, they're really old vampires and they're both so different, but they both complement each other really well. Like, Adam is just super, he's Tom Hiddleston, he's like super depressed, and he has long black hair, and he's really skinny, and he makes like really underground music, and no one knows his identity. He like collects instruments and stuff. He's really hot. And then Eve, who is Tilda Swinton, she's really cool, you know? She explores the world, and she has this special ability to, like, whenever she touches something, especially like instruments, she can tell like how old it is, like the date it was made and like what it's made of. And I think that's super cool. And they complement each other really well, because she's like, I mean, they're all really reserved and low-key, but like she's like super sunshiny and he's all grumpy. And I love that. I love their dynamic. And it just kind of goes between a period of time in their life where Adam wants to, and like she has to like talk him out of it. And then Eve's sister, I think her name's like Eva or something, visits, and she causes problems that causes them to move out to a different country, and then they live there. So there's a lot of, I feel like, symbolism and stuff I haven't picked up on this movie. I think it's super gorgeous and I loved it, but I haven't looked into it enough. A lot of plot points are set up, but I feel like they're not explained very well. But maybe it's not about that. I think this is just like a movie you need to feel, you know? Whatever. I still think it's a good movie. I really like it. So, Only Lovers Left Alive. High B. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Next, we have our A tier movies, and there are a lot of them because they're also different. I have a soft spot for each one. All right, first one, going to be controversial because everyone I've heard just like hates this movie, and I don't. I think it's fun and interesting. Okay, it's Van Helsing from 2004. This movie, I don't quite remember the plot because I've only watched it a few times. Right, I only watch it because Dracula's hot and his brides are hot. Okay, I watch them because the actors are hot. Sorry, something possessed me there. It was kind of part of this early 2000s genre of like gritty gothic movies, kind of like Underworld, you know, this Resident Evil, kind of The Matrix. Like, I love that aesthetic. I miss that so much, and I wish it would come back. I love it. Yeah, Van Helsing is hunting down Dracula, and Dracula wants to like reproduce with his 3 brides, but because they're dead, their babies are born dead. So they need to kind of recreate what Frankenstein did with Frankenstein's monster. So yeah, they need like electricity and a powerful conduit to like bring his babies to life. And Van Helsing has to stop that. All the while they're trying to out this family, Kate Beckinsale's like family lineage. She does die in the end. Womp womp. Right? And Van Helsing, I forgot his story, but he's old as hell. Right? Yeah, he hunts him down. Richard Roxburgh is Dracula, and he's very hot. I am kind of obsessed with him in this movie. I don't know what my deal is. And the brides, love them so much. Oh my god, they're all so hot. Hey, I forgot my favorite scene, but she's the eldest. She's the one with the long dark hair. Can't tell that's a thing with me. That's my type. I think it's really fun. People don't like this movie. It's a fun movie, and I like how it combines other like gothic horror icons. Like Van Helsing hunts these villains like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's like that kind of thing, and it's so much fun. I think it's really fun, and like the werewolf transformation in this movie is so gritty and dark and like painful, and I love it. And the werewolves are hot. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a furry sometimes. Only with werewolves. That's it. Yeah, Van Helsing. I love this movie. It's so much fun. Come on, y'all. So it's going in A, at the bottom with A. Might move this down to B, I'm gonna be honest. I love it, but I might move it down. Next, I feel like this is probably one of my bad takes, is going to be Nosferatu, the Symphony of Horror, the OG from 1922. So, I really like this movie. I think it's great, and I enjoyed it. It's just, you know, I give it leniency because it is an early film. It's very old, and they can only do so much. I did like it. I really did. I thought it was great. Love it. But for some reason, I just can't get it above some of my other A-list options. As important as this movie was, there are other ones that I just think are a little better. I'm sorry. I do love this movie, though. I love it. I saw it the first time, and it actually did scare me. I love the bit where Count Orlok is like carrying his coffin throughout Germany. It was so funny. Love that. It's sped up like sequence of him like packing his carriage before he leaves. It's so funny. Yeah. I think it's really good. It's important because it introduces new ideas of vampirism and like female characters, female leads. Again, it's not all the way there. The next movie, the other 2 Nosferatu movies do, and I'll talk about that. But it's really good, and I think it's really important, and I really enjoy it. This kind of made me want to get into silent films a little more. But yeah, great movie. All right, next one is going to be Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. Love this movie. I don't think you can see it in here, but I have a poster. Love this movie. Thought it was great. I really enjoy it. I have not seen the TV show, which I heard is better. So, I do like this movie though. I think it's fun. I think it's crazy seeing Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt as these 2 vampires. Insane. It's so weird to me that Lestat is Brad Pitt. Crazy. He plays a great Brad Pitt. Lestat plays Brad Pitt. It does feel very surface level to me, but like I can't really blame him. It's a thick book. I started reading it. It's good. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Like, this is just an iconic movie. The cast is crazy. I think it's really fun. I really enjoy this vampire movie. I think it's really important. It's a pinnacle in the genre. Yeah, I think it's really fun. I know once I watch the TV show, this is gonna plummet, but however, I have not been there yet. Okay, from here on out, these are like my favorite movies like ever. Not even just like vampire horror movies, just like ever, right? So next is going to be Fright Night from 1985. I love this movie. I also have a poster of it, not in my room, but in the basement. Right? So Jerry Dandridge moves into this neighborhood, and his roommate.
God, they were roommates.
They move in and start killing people, and the son, Charlie, is trying to figure out how to stop him, and everyone thinks he's crazy. It's really funny. I love this movie. I love it's 80s. I can't help it. I love the soundtrack. I love the aesthetic. I like the cast. They all do a really great job. Prince Humperdinck is in it. They made Prince Humperdinck hot. It's hot. I have a huge crush on Jerry Dandridge. I will say, I cannot place this higher because, like, what's up with the weird romantic subplot of Jerry Dandridge trying to bang it like a teenager? She's like in high school, and he's like, I want you. He's like feeling her up in the club. That was hot though. I wish that's like supposed to be me. First time with my mom, and I was like freaking out. I was like, I cannot be in this room with her right now. I gotta jerk it, right? But I think it's a fun movie. I think it's a really iconic vampire movie. Not talked about enough. It'd be like perfect if it didn't have the weird high schooler thing in it. So that's why it remains an A and not any higher. I love this movie though. I watch it all the time. Oh, Scary Vampires, by the way. He makes a scary vampire transformation. Give him props for that. Like, he's hot, but he's scary, right? Next movie. I watched this for the first time, and I love it so much. It is going to be The Hunger with David Bowie. So I was immediately hooked by this movie because the intro takes place in a goth club, right? And Bela Lugosi is dead. Is being performed by Bauhaus. Oh my god! Like, it's not even that it's like playing. The band is there, and they're singing it. They're performing it, and it's so gaggy. I was obsessed. I was so stoked to hear that, like, that's not even, I did not sing that very well. David Bowie's in it, and he plays like this kind of new vampire lover of this woman named Miriam, and they're both really hot, but there's a dilemma. So Miriam is like an OG, like real vampire, right? Throughout history, she's kind of taken in vampire lovers, but eventually they all just start rapidly decomposing and dying, and that's what happens to, well, they don't die, they just become like skeletons or whatever. It's kind of gross. That happens to David Bowie, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and they both meet this scientist played by Susan Sarandon. She's so hot. Her and her husband, dude, oh my god. They meet up, and then Miriam is like, she sees Susan Sarandon, and she's like, I want you, and they have a little lesbianism, just a little bit. It's really hot, and I was like freaking out. I was jerking it, dude. I was jerking it. I thought it was really good. The music's great. I love the goth influence in this. The story I think is really fun, and the ending it's a little sad, but like it's gaggy. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. Points to lesbians. We got to give it to the bisexuals and the lesbians, everyone, right? I recommend it. Love this movie. I think it's so fun. That goes an A, of course. Love, 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 love. All right, next is a movie I watched for the first time very recently, and I'm shocked at how much I love it. It is a film called The Dracula. So, it is based off of a book, and it's kind of like a folk vampire story, right? There is this Frenchman who is kind of like an envoy for the king, is stuck in the woods, and he is helped by this family who's all really quiet and superstitious and stuff. Turns out the grandfather has been missing, and when he comes back, he turns into a Vordelak, which is like a vampire, and the only way he can survive is to feed off of the blood of his loved ones, right? So this Frenchman is witness to this, and he like falls for the eldest daughter in the family, Stenka. Her name is Zdenka, and she is so beautiful, right? Of course, it's a French movie, so obviously it ends in tragedy. I love the ending, and I don't have enough words for this movie. I think I was so surprised by how much I like this movie. Listen, I don't like French people, but the French people are good at protesting, and they're good at movies. That's all I can say, though. That's all the props I'm willing to give them, right? I got more positives about this movie. So it is filmed. I don't know how they did this. It is filmed in a way that looks like it is a movie from like the 80s. Like, it's the camera, it's the film grain, it's the filters, it's the soundtrack, it's the way the camera like moves. It's the costuming. It's, oh my god. I was so gagged. Like, they have these little moments where this Frenchman, he's looking through like a telescope into the family members' rooms because he's a fucking pervert, right? I'm a pervert. And it shows you the point of view through the telescope, and it's literally just like the film, but there's like a black circle around it, and it, like, as if you're looking through the telescope. And I'm like, oh, that's so like retro, that's so old. Love that. Like, oh my god, it was so much fun. I love that. Also, what they decide to do to the vampire, so cool. The vampire, the Vordelak, is a puppet. It's a puppet. Oh, and it looks so cool, and the way it's rigged is really interesting. Oh my god, I love this movie so much. I would put this in S tier, but like, I like can't. It's hard for me to put it that high up when I've only seen it once and I haven't had enough time to like really dwell on it. Also, again, spoilers. Somehow the vampire tricks the Frenchman into thinking that he's Sedenka, and he has sex with the dad. They have sex, and I see his nutsack. I saw the Frenchman's nutsack, his receding hairline, and his nuts. Great movie, love. They also have a bit where like, they explained it weird, and I don't really get why. That they need, like, the Vordelak needs to like chew on their blanket, and it's like soggy chewing. That's how it's described. That you hear like throughout the movie. It's so gross. Love, and it scares me a little bit. It scared me. Love, 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 love. Right. I just realized I've been staying in front of the whiteboard like the whole time. I feel like I can't put it in an S yet, but high A. Love. I recommend this movie so much. It's kind of artsy. Love that. It's so much fun. I really enjoy the crap out of it. All right, next is a personal favorite of mine. It is The Lost Boys. I love this. I fucking love this movie so much. So Emersons move in with their grandfather to Santa Carla, and their son Michael Emerson. He runs into this gang of like these really punk, rough and tumble fucking vampires, and he's slowly becoming a vampire. And he falls in love with this girl named Star, and in the end they have a big vampire fight. I'm zooming through it because like this is a popular movie, guys. We know what this movie is. I love it. I love the cast. Kiefer is in it. Crazy. Oh my god. And there's one vampire. Oh my god. It's the vampire Dwayne. He has the long brown hair and like open jacket, shirtless. He has like the communist flag in his back pocket. So hot. He's played by Billy Wirth, who's 62 years old, and I still have a crush on him. I don't care. I have a Pinterest folder where it's all just, it's like 200 photos of him. I'm so obsessed with him. He's so hot, right? I love it. I love this movie. It's hard for me to explain. Like, it's just so good. It's so 80s. The soundtrack is great. Oh, shall not fall. And there's the saxophone guy. Love it. Love, love, love. So much fun. I highly recommend this movie. It is so fun. If you love 80s, and it's surprisingly gory, and I really like the vampire transformations too. I think it's really cool. Super, super duper fun. Top of A, almost S. I might move it up to S. I don't know. All right. A, done. All right, guys, we made it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We finally made it to S tier. My throat hurts because I've been talking way too much. But I'm a yapper. Can't help it. All right, S tier. These are like my perfect movies, and I love them so much. Let's get into it. First up is going to be the OG Dracula from 1991. What can I say? Like, this is massive respect to this movie. It's the OG. Bela Lugosi. Come on, guys. Bauhaus wrote a song about him. Come on. It's Bela Lugosi. Like, it introduced such interesting tropes. It is fun to watch. I thought it was fun to watch. Renfield genuinely scared me in this movie. Like, when he's the shot of him, like, they find him in the bottom of the boat where he's going, that scared me. And I think the acting is great. I love the characters. I love how it builds suspense. I love the brides. It's so good. Like, come on, guys, you haven't watched this? Come on, guys, you gotta watch it. It's the OG. It's so good. It's so good. I love this movie. I think it's so much fun. Like, I wasn't really into older films like this until I watched this. Then I got it. Then it clicked. I was like, oh, these are actually good. I'm gonna put that right there at the bottom of S. So good. I love this movie. I've watched it twice so far. I love, 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 love. All right, next is going to be our second Nosferatu film, and it is Nosferatu the Vampyre from 1979. Again, big year for vampire movies. I don't know why. Again, this is the story of Nosferatu, which is the adaptation of Dracula. And it's like so good. It's so artsy. I will say I didn't watch it in the German dub. I watched it in the English one, so I'm sure it's much better than German. You know what I mean. Isabella Johnny's in this, and she, oh my god, I am in love with Isabella Johnny. Sorry, she does such a good job in this movie. Like her makeup, like she has that long black hair and like bright blue eyes and like a dark shadow look. Gag. I was obsessed with her. She's so beautiful. I love her. And then Jonathan Hutter? Yeah, they changed his name. He's a little gross. She could do better. She could do better with me. Just saying. I like how it really brings up and expands upon ideas first introduced in the 1922 movie. Like, it's the role of the female heroine and like how she sacrifices herself, kind of like the role of women, like hysteria, and how, especially in this time period, even now, women are looked down upon and they're not taken seriously. And she knows that she has to sacrifice herself and give the credit to the man just to save the day. It's a very sad movie. I love Orlok in this. Well, he's called Dracula, but Orlok. His character, he's so sad, because he is a vampire, the Nosferatu. And he is cursed to live eternally and to drink the blood of human beings and kill them and drink their blood. Fun fact, the opening scene where you see a bunch of mummies, those are real dead bodies. Woo, spooky! Right? He's cursed to live eternally. But even though he is undead, he still wants love and human connection. He still wants all that. But he can't help his true nature to destroy those around him. So it's really sad. His character is really sad. And then Isabel, you see this in the 1922 version as well. I just failed to talk about it. She is notably different than everyone else in Victorian society. She is a romantic. She's a little weird. She's a weird girl, the OG weird girl. Put some respect on Elizabeth Hutter's name. I don't even think that's her name. That's not even her name. Hey, I don't know. And she's just so different. So obviously these two are drawn to each other. And then she sacrifices herself to save the day. And oh yeah, huge props to the 1922 Nosferatu for first introducing the idea that vampires disintegrate in the sunlight. But yeah, I love this movie. I really do. It's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. So, S. To completely change the pace and bring in something from out of left field, next on S is going to be Blade, the Blade trilogy. So, I didn't finish the third movie because I got bored, and Ryan Reynolds is in it. Boo! Again, my beef with random celebrities. I don't know what the deal is. But I love this movie. The intro is so captivating with the blood rave, like You're like, oh, it's a daywalker. You're like, everybody, it's so sick. Oh my god, I love it. I love the story. The aesthetic, again, it's the early 2000s, like grungy techno aesthetic. I just really like it. It's hard to explain. I think it's so fun. Love the music, love the aesthetic. Again, I'm just repeating stuff. Like, it's a good action movie too. I love it. It made me sad. It was crazy that the villain was banging his mom. He's banging his mom. My god, right? The first one I think is really good. The second one is really good too. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro. Makes sense. Third one, didn't finish. That was good. I just didn't finish it. So yeah, I don't have much to say other than like it's just so good. Like, it's so fun and I enjoy it so much. So this is probably due to recency effect. Like, it's just like come on y'all. Nosferatu 2024. Like, come on, it's so good. It's so good. I love Robert Eggers. I haven't seen The Northman, but of course I watched the Witch and The Lighthouse. I love what he does. I love the dark, gritty atmosphere he brings. Like, first of all, it's dull, but it's so blue. It's so blue. Oh, the colors and the acting, the aesthetic. And Count Orlok is scary. I went in being like, oh yeah, I'm ready to see this hot ass vampire. No, he's literally a rotting corpse, and I'm scared of him. And his voice and the way Bill Skarsgård just breathes. Like, it's an effort to breathe. You can hear his rattle.
You must bounce on it. Crazy style.
Oh my god. And then Nicholas Hoult plays an amazing Thomas. Oh, I was on his side the whole time. And then Lily Rose Depp. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my god. Like, when she said she was trying to channel Isabella Johnny in The Possession. Lovely movie. Love that movie. I was like, okay, I have a general idea of what she's going to do. No. I was blown out of the water by her performance. She scared me. I was scared of her. I was like, how does she do this? Like, she was so amazing. I mean, Willem Dafoe's in this movie. Obviously, like, gotta give my props to him. I love him. He is just destined to play the creepy, weird old man in these movies. Like, that's just his role. Oh, I don't know what else I can say. This is an amazing movie. I saw it twice in the movie theater. I've never done that before. I saw this movie twice. Twice, girl. It's so good. I could watch it every day if I could. I have so much Nosferatu merch just littered throughout my room. Like, I have the popcorn bucket. I have a Funko. Where is he? I have the Funko. I have a Funko Pop of him. Put that shit back. Yeah, I have Funko Pops. Boo-hoo, who cares? I have the perfume, which is super good. I have a rug. Like, I'm just so obsessed with this movie. Gothic horror is back, and it's so beautiful. This movie is so beautiful. Oh, like, I almost cried watching it. It's so good. So, S tier, obviously. So good. Okay, so last night, as I started editing the video, I realized that out of nowhere, my microphone cut off and did not record like the last 10 minutes of audio. So I have to refilm that part. Yay! Excuse me for looking busted. I just got back from work and I feel like I'm luckily. When the audio stopped, we just had one more movie left, and probably can't see it from there. It is Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. So, obviously, this was going to be number one, the top of the S tier. This movie holds a really sentimental place in my heart. It was probably, I think, the first vampire movie I ever watched, and it was just so entrancing and captivating. It led me to read the book, and after reading it, I have so much more appreciation for this movie and for the rest of the vampire movies in general. So this is like the story of Dracula, and I don't remember how accurate it is, but this film, some say that it puts style over substance, but sure, okay, it's beautiful, so I don't care. When I first watched it, I didn't believe that it was filmed in the 90s because of all it'll come to me, the word will come to me, I swear. Oh yeah, because of all the practical effects that they use. I thought it was made in the 70s or something, but no, it was made in the 90s, and it's so beautiful. The colors, the costuming, the acting. Keanu Reeves is a little bit of a shifty Jonathan, but it's okay. We can ignore that because he's hot, and I love Keanu Reeves. Winona does a great job. Gary Oldman, hot as shit in this movie. I mean, if we just disregard his crazy hairline, he's hot, and he has his gray coat and his little blue glasses that I also have a Funko Pop of. See? Yes, I have two vampire Funko Pops. I also have two more. Also two U2's figures, but they're Germa, obviously. I'm going to have the U2's figures of Germa. This was obviously, from the start, I knew this was going to be my number one perfect vampire movie. It just doesn't compare. It really doesn't. I recommend this movie to anybody and everybody. Again, it's a more romantic take on Dracula, but it's so good. The scene where Dracula comes to Mina in his gaseous form, he wakes up under her bed, and of course she's kind of under some weird spell, but we're just gonna ignore that. She asked to be turned into a vampire so she could stay with him, and the way he hesitates because he loves her. And he knows that if she turns into a vampire, if he lets this happen, she will be damned. But then she's like, I don't care. And then he bites her, and then he slices his nipple open. She's eating his blood. It's so good. Oh my god, it's so hot. Oh, and this movie has the cowboy. The cowboy's in this movie. Very sad that he dies. Rip Quincy, you were so hot. Oh my god. Him and Lucy, and oh my god. And Lucy, god, she's so beautiful, and the costuming was amazing. Her bridal gown / burial gown, so beautiful. And oh my god, like Dracula, his armor, like it's supposed to look like muscles, like the musculature of the human body. It is so gaggy. I remember, like, I think every time I watch this movie I cry or get close to like crying, because the ending is so beautiful and is so sad. And it's funny to think that, like, after all this happens, that like Mina and Jonathan, they're just like, okay, and they move on and have like a kid together. I don't think I could do that. Good for her, good for them, but I couldn't do that. Oh my god, so awesome. This is the only time I've ever been attracted to Gary Oldman. It's very odd. It's very odd to say that. Yeah. So obviously, of course, this is going to be number one on S. What I consider the perfect vampire movie, the most perfect I've ever seen. Alright, so as you can see, I have arranged some of these. I don't remember which I moved to where. I will post a picture at the end of the video of like a tier list and better pictures, so it'll clearly show what I decided on this ranking. But I'll start from the bottom and go up anyways. So this is going to be worst to best slash then finish to best. All right. So Blood for Dracula, Bram Stoker's Count Dracula, Morbius, Renfield, John Carpenter's Vampires, Dracula Untold, Fright Night 2011, Last Voyage of the Demeter, Bit, Salem's Lot 1979, Twilight as a whole, Vampyre, Black Sunday / The Mask of Satan, Horror of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, Blacula, Dracula 1979, oh my god, 30 Days of Night, Queen of the Damned, Dracula 2000, Hotel Transylvania, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, Only Lovers Left Alive, Van Helsing, Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, Interview with the Vampire, Fright Night 1985, The Hunger, The Vortilac, The Lost Boys, Dracula from 1931, Nosferatu the Vampyre, Blade, Nosferatu 2024, and Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that's it. We're done. We made it. The amount of times I've had to like refilm this, insane. That's all right. It was worth it. I'll say thank you for watching if you do watch it. My name is Emma. This channel is called Creepwave. I do plan on posting videos similar to this, and I have a possible like part 2 in mind for something like this, where adding it to this ranking would be a lot, but it's 25 other vampire movies. I'll figure out what to do with that. I have some other ideas in mind. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of social media. I do have a Twitter though that I made specifically related to this YouTube account. It is just at Creepwave, spelled the exact same way, CR33PWAVE. Yeah, hit me up on there, I guess. Give me ideas. I have no idea where this is gonna go, but I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna see what happens. So don't be afraid to like the video and subscribe if you want. If you don't, I don't really care. I'm not financially dependent on this. I need to get my energy out somewhere after TikTok goes down. Look, TikTok, I'll miss you very much. Bye.